Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list is what I feel are the top 10 misses when I had these notes graded. Now, when I say that, I don't necessarily mean these are all bad things. Either they're misses because the grade was wrong, or they're misses because the grader simply missed what was on the note. Maybe to my advantage. So, with that being said, I'm going to run through these top 10 notes, and then I'm also afterwards going to give you my summary on how I think things went and whether I'd do it again, give you an idea of price and stuff like that. All right, so number 10. I'm starting with this one. This was my 1899 Black Eagle. And I think this one was a miss. I put it down as being 40 to 45. They put it as a 30. And I don't know how well it's going to show, but they did give it 30 EPQ. And the thing is this was another note that I sent in, which also was graded 30 EPQ. And when you look at this note, you can see hard crease, very hard crease here. You can see a crease this way. You can see the crease over here. You can see the crease on the bottom, right through here. Let's look at the back. You can see even in the dirt pattern that it's white here because of the crease. And the dirt itself lets you know what kind of condition this was in. Once again, on the side, you can see here where the creases, the dirt stuck to the creases. And yeah, they said this was a 30 EPQ. In comparison, this note is bright. They gave it the EPQ, so they don't think the note was cleaned. It does have a very faint line right here. That's it. That's pretty much the only thing wrong with this particular note. It does show signs of handling, but it doesn't show signs of creases or anything to that effect. So when I look at this note, I think there is a huge difference between this one and this one, and yet they were both given the exact same grade. I mean, you can look at the two and see that there's a difference without a doubt. Let me put this one up here. I mean, just look at that. If you can't see the difference between these two notes, yeah, somebody boned it. This one was definitely a 40 to 45, and this one 25 to 30 in my opinion. So yeah, I think they missed it with that. That's number 10 on my list, the Black Eagle. Number 9 on my list, this was my brownback, $20 brownback. That's of course why they call it the brownback. Normally you reserve the back of the note for anything that if there's something wrong with the note, or if it gets exceptional paper quality, that's what gets written on the back. But for some reason, whoever decided they wanted to grade this note put Decatur, Illinois, and then instead of putting the National Bank of Decatur, Illinois, they put Decatur, Illinois, the NB, and then left all this blank. And then they try to squeeze in everything else, all the other denominations. If they would have put the National Bank, Decatur, Illinois, then they could have moved this up, and then they would have had the room for the signatures on the front of the note like it would be in any other note. I found this extremely unusual. To me, that's like a rookie mistake, just not trying to figure. They could have easily moved that up there, even if they had to move this just a hair this way. They could have at least had it done the correct way. So yeah, to me, that's a rookie mistake, and probably explains why I got some of the grades. Apparently someone who wasn't as used to seeing some of these notes, I guess. So that one is number 9. Number 8 on my list is... This was my 1922 gold certificate. Once again, a great grade. They said it was 25. I don't disagree. I think it's a great grade for this particular note. The thing is that when you look at the back, they notated rust. Well, yeah, you can see the rust very clearly, but you can also see why there's rust. There's 2 pinholes. This note was stapled. And yeah, it's pretty clear that with the staple in there, that is going to definitely hole the note. And let me just put this here. Yep, you can see the hole right there. You can see the hole right there. No about a doubt it. There's a couple staple holes. And right next to it looks like foxholing too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Total of 4 holes that I can spot in that small little area. Yet, the only designation they gave it was rust. So yeah, I think they missed it. They missed it on that one, and I get the bonus because there is no notation for pinholes. So that is number 8 on my list. Number 7, my other 1922, this is the $10 gold certificate. Once again, they came up with a grade of a 20, and if I check the back, no designation at all. They called it a clean note. Thing is, it's not. Once again, if I was to take my light and hold it up to the back of this thing, let's see if I can make this happen. There's a hole right there. There's a hole there. I think there was some over here as well. Trying not to make the camera go crazy, but yeah, there's that one. There's 2 right there. There's 1 there. And yeah, there's some more in this area. There it is right there. So yeah, they missed quite a bit on this particular note as far as the foxholing. Foxholing is when a bug gets to the note and starts chewing on it. But yeah, there's another one right there. Anyway, this note, they graded a 20 and no notation for the holes. So once again, a note that I get to take advantage of because they missed it. All right, 10, 9, 8, that's number 7. Number 6, one of the error notes I sent in. This was my $100 cutting error note, and yeah, I think they did okay with this. They called it a 35. They gave me an EPQ. I was surprised at that. What did they miss? Well, this is what they missed. Right here, there's a counter stamp on the back. You can see here and here the counter stamp. Actually, yeah, I think that's part of the counter stamp there, but this is definitely part of the counter stamp. And yeah, actually, right, is that, no, that's the light pole, but that's a counter stamp. And no designation at all. Just exceptional paper quality is all they put on that particular one. So I get to move ahead once again with that particular notation there. That was number 6. Number 5. Number 5 is another one of the errors I sent in. This one was the $5 1981 overprint on back error. If you look at the front of the note, it's missing all kinds of stuff, and it just says exceptional paper quality on this side. All of the printing was done on the back of the note. Now, what they graded this as 64, but looking at it, you can clearly see the roller mark from where it was put through a machine. So I don't know how it qualified for a 64 like that. I would have assumed 63 would have been the top grade, but yeah, very clear roller mark, very distinct roller mark from a counting machine on there. Yet they overlooked it and gave me a 64. It's not very often you have people complaining that the note was overgraded. I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing out what I saw. So that's number 5. Number 4, another overgrade. This is my 1886 $5 silver certificate. I was stunned that this one came back as a 15. When I look at this note, I knew about all the repairs. I knew how the seal was washed out. I knew how rough some of this stuff was here. You can see on the borders here how rough that all is. Checking the back of this note, there's nothing to hide. It's all out there. You can clearly see all the roughness of this particular note, but they still called it a 15. Now, in comparison, this note here is what I figured a 15 would look like. So you've got, let's see, put these side by side. You can clearly see the difference in these two. Once again, they both have the same grade. Well, this one's 15 net. The net designation has to do with the seal being missing and the repaired hole. But forget about that and look at the quality of the rest of the note. Side by side, when you put it next to this note definitely is not as high grade as this. Yet they're both 15 choice fine. This I can see getting the 15. This probably should have been a 10 or a 12. I guessed it as an 8 when I had it, but apparently somebody thought different and they gave me the full 15 on this particular one. But yeah, side by side, you can clearly see a difference in these two notes. So that is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. That was number 4. Number 3. They missed another one, my public error. They gave me a 15 on this particular one, and that's all I ever expected on this note. However, if I look at the back, once again, no designation. But look at the giant ink stain. That's pen ink. A pen exploded there. That's what that is. You have this ink stain, and it's thick. It goes all the way through the note, even blocking out some of the lettering. Yet they still called it a 15 with no designation on the back. And I'm just floored that it got away without having ink stain or anything like that written on the note. Once again, goody goody for me, but not a proper grade in my particular opinion. The 15 is great, but there should be a notation about that ink stain. Number 2 on the list. Number 2, they called this an offset printing error. I guess technically it's an offset print error. Hang on, I got to adjust here. There we go. Technically it's an offset print error. The thing is that it's not an offset print from the plate. It would be an offset print from the wet ink of the previous note, because when you look at this side, you can see how dark the ink is, but how light the ink is for the seal. That's because this was over inked, and when the next note fell on top of it, the wet ink transferred to this side. Now, it's interesting that the serial numbers didn't transfer, only the seal. That, to me, is the dead giveaway that it's a wet ink transfer and not necessarily what we know as an offset print error. They were kind enough to give it a 30 EPQ. Great, I'm happy with that. But yeah, the fact that this was not printed on a backplate and offset in the way that we think, this was offset from another note, led me to believe they would call it a wet ink transfer, but nope, offset printing error is what they went with. And finally, number 1 on my list. I can't believe they graded this. They call it an insufficient inking error. Well, what's wrong with it? There is no seal. There is no serial number, which is fine. You know, that could easily be an obstruction error. But the thing is there is also no signature. And the signature is done during the second print. So if the signature is the second print and all of the rest is the third print, that means there had to be 2 errors on this, which to me is ridiculously unlikely, which leads me to believe that this wasn't a real error. If anything, it would be an obstruction error on one point or another, but they simply called it an insufficient inking error. They didn't give any clarification as to how this would happen on 2 separate printings, the second and the third printing. And it doesn't even make sense, because one of the things that's missing is the seal, which would not allow the 10 from the second printing to be there. You know, so it's not like there's a piece of paper over the top of this, because this got printed just fine, even though the date and the signature didn't get printed. And then on the next time through, the seal didn't get printed. So I really don't understand, but they still called it the real thing. They still called it an insufficient inking error, had no problem labeling it as an error. And, well, there it is. It's graded. So who am I to argue with them? For me and the rest of the world, this is now officially an inking error. So I can't really complain, I guess. So how did all this go? Well, I ended up sending in a total of 24 notes. To have 24 notes graded and to pay for shipping and everything else, I ended up spending $1,048. Now, when I totaled everything up, I looked to see my cost. My cost on the notes themselves was $5,493. When I add in the cost of the grading, that puts me at $6,541. My estimated value on the notes before I sent them in was $7,200. Well, after the grading, the new value on my notes was $10,450. Meaning that by getting these notes graded, I increased the value of my notes by $3,185. And that does not include the error notes, okay? Because there is no book price on the error notes. Now, obviously, by having my notes graded, I increased the value of the errors as well, but I just don't have a definite number that I can associate with that. So basically, that $3,185 increase, that's just on half of the notes. That's just on the older notes that I had graded, not the errors. So when I think about spending $1,000 to have it graded, oh yeah, worth every penny. I tripled my money on that and then some, because like I said, I also have all of the errors that are graded. I would do it again in a heartbeat, But once again, I would make sure that I have enough notes to send in. I wouldn't want to send in one, but by doing it this way, my average cost was just under $44 per note. So that definitely made it worth it. All right, guys, if you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.